Hello guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So the Rogue Momentum modifier, I don't know, these new seasonal modifiers are interesting to say the least, but it seems like the devs are trying to encourage more players to use skill builds rather than all run and gun, which isn't a bad thing at all, especially since skill builds in this game can be extremely viable. So with that being said, in today's video, we're going to be breaking down 3 extremely viable hybrid skill builds to use for solo or team play. And when I say hybrid, DPS, healing, and skill damage all in one setup, right? So with these builds, you'll have a nice balance of both weapon and skill damage, plus healing, so there's also a decent amount of survivability, which makes them great for clearing higher difficulty content as well. I'm not gonna lie though, I don't normally like to run skill builds, but with the new gear set and brand set that were added in this new season, I managed to put together some great hybrid skill builds that fit my playstyle, so I still have that decent weapon damage and survivability aspect. And to be honest, for me, the way these builds are set up makes running skills a lot more enjoyable. And with the addition of the new passive modifiers, there's one in particular that gives the striker drone a nice damage buff. So you can expect to see some great damage from the striker drone with these setups. And again, these are great builds for clearing higher difficulty content as well. So if you've been struggling with completing heroic content, then you should find heroic a lot easier with these setups. These builds will work great for legendary difficulty as well, so if you're up for it, they are viable. So without further ado, let's get started. This first hybrid skill build utilizes the power of the new Refactor gear set, which will heal you and allies in your group for a percentage of the skill damage you deal out. This is great because it adds survivability without you needing to run a healing skill such as the heal hive, for example, and essentially the more skill damage we can stack on this, the better the healing from this gear set. And with the addition of the Ninjabike exotic bag, squeezing in some extra skill damage can easily be done. But again, since this gear set will provide heals from the skill damage your skills deal out, having the striker drone and assault turret makes for a great combo because these two skills tend to deal out consistent, decent damage. The primary weapon that I'm running with this build is the capacitor, which is the ideal weapon because the capacitor will be increasing both your skill and weapon damage, thanks to the talent capacitance. The capacitor also has a very high base damage with a fairly decent RPM. So with the talent capacitance, shooting enemies will build stacks that cap at 40. Each stack grants an additional 1.5% skill damage, but after 5 seconds, stacks will decay. So at full stacks, that's about 60% skill damage, which is crazy high. But get this, for each skill tier, you gain 7.5% increased weapon damage. And this build has 5 skill tiers, so that's about 37% weapon damage, right? So this is a solid weapon, and if anyone still needs this gun, it's very easy to get. You can actually get it by completing 5 challenges in the summit. So if you need this weapon, just start up the summit mission, which you can find on the upper right corner if you open up your mini-map. Then you can choose and complete up to 5 challenges, either tactical or ascent challenges will work. However, a good alternative is the name test subject assault rifle. And this gun is great because it comes with the talent perfectly in sync. And what this talent does is by hitting an enemy, you get 20% skill damage for 5 seconds. So the name test subject is a great alternative because you're still getting that skill and weapon damage increase. For the mask, a Refactor mask with a skill tier core attribute, skill damage, and a critical hit chance mod. Now, as with any 4-piece gear set, you get a talent and stat bonuses for having 2 to 3 pieces. For this set, I get 15% status effect and a nice 25% skill damage. And for the 4-piece bonus, the talent return to sender works by healing you by 10% of the damage dealt by your skills, and your allies will receive 20%. For the vest, another Refactor piece with skill tier core, skill damage, and critical hit chance. And like any other gear set, the vest always comes with a talent that supports or enhances the effect of the initial 4-piece talent. So in this case, I decided to use the Refactor vest for the talent increased interest. This talent will essentially increase the heals I get from 10% to 25%, and for any allies in your group, they get 35% instead of the normal 20%. And for the holster, a Hana U holster with a skill tier core attribute and crits. I also get all 3 bonuses from just having 2 pieces thanks to the Ninjabike exotic backpack. So 10% skill haste and skill damage, and a 15% increased weapon damage. Now for the knee pads, the second piece of Hana U with weapon damage core attribute rolled with both crits. For the gloves, the third piece of Refactor with an armor core attribute and critical hit chance. And for the backpack, the Ninjabike exotic bag, which comes with all three major core attributes. This backpack is amazing. What it does is it allows you to fulfill the requirement towards unlocking a gear or brand set's bonus. So in other words, having this backpack equipped will slot in and act as an additional set piece to unlock the bonus for any other gear I'm running. And since multiple bonuses from multiple sets can be unlocked at the same time, it basically serves as my fourth Refactor piece and my third Hana U piece. Now for the stats, 50% critical hit chance and 111 critical hit damage. So you may have noticed I went with some critical hit chance rolls on a few of my gear pieces, and this is because I'm using both the critical momentum and critical recovery passive modifiers. So having a fairly decent amount of critical hit chance helps with these two. And for the third passive modifier, the aggressive drone for a nice 50% increased drone damage. And for the active, I'm using overdrive. Now for the skills, you want to run the striker drone and assault turret. And for the weapon specialization, technician for the extra skill tier and 10% increased skill damage. Okay guys, this second build is a powerhouse. This build takes advantage of the Umbra initiative gearset talent from the shadows into the light. So the Umbra gearset talent will basically provide RPM and critical hit damage stat increases, which will ultimately increase weapon damage. So this build, similar to the first, has healing capabilities as well. However, instead of coming from the Refactor set, this build uses the newly added brand set. This new brand set provides a huge repair skills bonus for having 3 pieces, and it's for this reason that I'm running the Restorer Heal Hive. Also, similar to the first build, I'm running the Ninjabike exotic bag with the capacitor as my primary weapon. This backpack is great and basically brings together the damage from the Umbra set with the healing from the shiny monkey brand set, so they complement each other nicely. So for the mask, 1 piece of the shiny monkey brand set, and since I have the Ninjabike bag, for 2 pieces I get all 3 stat bonuses, right? So 15% skill duration, 5% skill efficiency, and a crazy high 52% repair skills bonus. Rolled with skill tier, repair skills, and critical hit chance with a critical hit damage mod. And for the vest, an Umbra vest with armor core, critical hit chance, and an extra critical hit chance mod. And Umbra provides a nice 15% critical hit chance for having 2 pieces, 3 pieces grants 30% reload speed, and 4 pieces unlocks the gear set talent from the shadows into the light. So basically, while you're in cover, you will gain 10 stacks per second up to 50. And each stack will give you a 1.2% critical hit damage increase, as well as a 0.4% RPM increase. However, this buff won't work while you're in cover, so you will need to momentarily leave cover, then when you're ready to reload, you can go back in cover. Now the catch with this is while you're out of cover, you lose 2 stacks per second while moving at normal speed, and 1 stack is lost per second if you're sprinting. Now, you will also get a little bit of healing from this gear set as well, which is cool. So while you're out of cover and in combat, you will gain 10 stacks per second up to 50. And each stack will give you about 0.8% armor regen when it gets consumed, which is 10 stacks per second only in cover. And you can actually monitor this progress by looking at the green symbol under your armor and health bar. For the holster, another Umbra piece with skill tier core and a critical hit damage attribute. And for the knee pads, a third Umbra piece with a skill tier core and critical hit chance attribute. Also, keep in mind that Umbra will always only drop with a weapon damage core attribute, even when crafted. So make sure you have either critical hit chance or damage so you can re-roll the weapon damage to skill tier. For the gloves, another shiny monkey piece with a skill tier core, critical hit damage, and repair skills attributes. And for the backpack, the Ninjabike exotic bag. So again, this backpack comes with all 3 major core attributes, so that helps this build reach 6 skill tiers for more skill damage and healing. But this backpack also allows me to have just 3 pieces of Umbra for the 4-piece bonus, and 2 pieces of the shiny monkey set for the 3-piece bonus. And for the skills, you want to have the striker drone and restorer heal hive. Now for the stats, 59% critical hit chance and 123% critical hit damage. And for the weapon specialization, you want to go with Technician for the extra skill tier, plus you get a nice 10% healing increase. Or you can go with the Overclocked for the 10% increased skill damage. And for the global modifiers, the same as the previous build, so for the active modifier, Overdrive, and for the passives, Aggressive Drone, Critical Momentum, and Critical Recovery. Alrighty, for this last setup, but surely not the least, this is a high-end brand set build which also uses the Ninjabike exotic backpack. This is another great hybrid DPS healing build that uses both the Hana U and Shiny Monkey brand sets. The healing on this build is slightly better than the previous setup, and the damage is there as well. I'm also running the Striker drone with this build, but honestly, if you want, you can always replace the Striker drone with an assault turret. However, the Striker drone will be better because of the aggressive drone passive modifier, which remember grants an extra 50% Striker drone damage. But unlike the previous setup with the Umbra gear set, you won't have to worry about building Umbra stacks from within cover, and the damage is still fairly decent. So for the mask, a shiny monkey mask with skill tier, repair skills, and critical hit chance, with a critical hit chance mod. And for the vest, a Brazos piece for the extra skill haste and skill tier, thanks to the Ninjabike bag with armor core, critical hit chance, skill damage, and a repair skills mod. For the talent, I'm running Unbreakable, but if you can, roll Obliterate instead. Obliterate would be a lot better because it will increase your weapon damage by 20%. For the holster, a Hana U holster with skill tier core and crits. And for the knee pads, another Hana U piece with weapon damage core and crits. And for the gloves, the second piece of Shiny Monkey with skill tier core, critical hit damage, and repair skills. And last but not least, the Ninjabike Messenger bag for the backpack. So again, this bag comes with all 3 major core attributes, so it helps me reach 6 skill tier. So I get 3 from the gear pieces, 1 from the Ninja bag and the Technician skill tree, then I get the 6th skill tier from the Brazos 2-piece set bonus. So having 6 skill tiers will definitely help increase your heals and damage out significantly. And for the skills, the Striker, Drone, and Restorer Hive for healing. Now for the stats, 50% critical hit chance and 111% critical hit damage. And for the modifiers, the same as the previous setups, so Overdrive for the active modifiers, then Aggressive Drone, Critical Momentum, and Critical Recovery for the passives. And for the weapon specialization, again you want to go with Technician for the extra skill tier and skill healing, or skill damage, whichever you prefer. So that will do it for today's video, guys. I hope this video brought value to you, and let me know what you guys think of these builds in the comment section. And even if you don't have some of the pieces to set these builds up like me, hopefully these builds gave you an idea for your own build. Well, I'm hoping at least. But anyway, this is Prajna. If you made it to the end of the video, you are truly an amazing person. I love you, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them for me in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, and if any of you are interested, I do have a Discord server, so if you need any assistance with incursions, raids, all that awesome jazz, then feel free to join. A link will be in the description. Keep it cool, keep it classy, and see you in the next video. Peace out.